Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide to the Keeper of the Lake, a new dungeon added in patch 2.5. To access it, you must unlock it through the main story, specifically through the new quests added in patch 2.5. It requires a minimum item level of 90 to enter, and each boss rewards one piece of item level 100 gear and a crafting material. Best part of the new dungeons, in my opinion. The first few trash pulls are nothing special. You'll have to kill a group of crabs first to get to the next part, and then there's 2 packs of mobs and a Son of the Keeper. You could pull these groups one at a time, or just pull all 7 mobs and AoE them down if you're speedrunning, whatever works for you. After that, there's a group of goblins and a frog up the ramp. Just kill these and you're already at the first boss. The first boss of the Keeper of the Lake is Einhander. This boss has access to several different AoEs. He has a fire breath that can hit the main tank, as well as a casted conal AoE that the tank can avoid. As the boss loses HP, he'll fly away and pick up a weapon to help him fight. The first one he'll come back with is a lead pipe, which he'll throw away when he first uses his conal attack. The second one is a machine gun, which he will use to shoot a line AoE at a random party member. The final one is a grenade launcher, which he will use to target a player with an AoE. Just dodge all this stuff as you would any other AoE. The main mechanic of this fight is the cerulean tanks that the other enemies are dropping. The small tanks that they drop can be knocked away by hitting them, similar to the bombs in Brayflock's hard mode's final boss. Einhander can also suck these tanks close to himself, but they can just be knocked away again after. The big tanks, on the other hand, can't be moved at all. Now, if any of these tanks is hit with one of Einhander's abilities, or the explosion of another tank, it'll trigger them to explode. The small ones just do damage in a small AoE around them, but the big ones do raid-wide damage, thus automatically triggering every other tank on the field. It's best to try to keep the boss's front faced away from the bombs so he doesn't fire breath them when he sucks them in, and try not to make any of his other AoEs hit them either. If a small bomb is near a big bomb, you can also knock it away from it to prevent it from triggering the big bomb's explosion. Honestly, unless 2 or 3 tanks go off at the exact same time, the damage is survivable, so just do your best to avoid the big tank explosions specifically, heal up, and move on. The next set of trash is a bunch of Imperial enemies. After killing the first bunch and unlocking the next area, several Colossi will shoot line AoEs at you from behind force fields. You can get to them by destroying nearby Magitek field inductors as you deal with the Imperials as well. Once freed, their AoEs will become bigger, but that shouldn't be any issue to you. Kill all of the enemies and open the next field at the terminal and move on to the second boss. The second boss of this dungeon is the Magitek Gunship. This boss moves around the arena a lot and covers a lot of it in fire. The gunship will start the fight with 2 basic attacks. The first one is a conal flamethrower that will pulse in front of him for AoE damage for several seconds after it casts, so just move out of it and don't move back into it until it's done. He will also fly towards the outside of the arena while marking somebody with a crosshair. After a short delay, he will chase that player and lay down fire AoEs that do damage over time. Keep in mind that if you're under a fire AoE when it initially drops, it will do some extra damage to you. Whenever a player is crosshaired, it's best to try to lead the gunship along the outside of the arena so the fire isn't in the way of the group. As the fight goes on, the gunship will summon some adds that need to be killed and start laying down multiple fire trails. He shoots AoEs at random party members and will do a dash attack to the main tank after he finishes laying down fire trails, so be sure to not be in his path. The last thing he may do is drop a fire AoE directly on the main tank, which you just have to move out of. Just keep killing the adds and dodging the AoEs until the boss is dead. The final bit of trash for this dungeon is just a varying group of dragons and birds. Deal with these as you would any other trash pull, but keep in mind there will be AoEs being shot at you from a gunship. You can actually use these AoEs to deal extra damage to the enemies, so try to all stack nearby them to ensure it hits them. Just handle all the trash pulls and you'll approach the final boss. The last boss of the Keeper of the Lake is Midgard Summer. This fight has a monstrous number of AoEs that need to be avoided, which increases as the fight goes on, so I won't go into detail on all of them. You see glowy stuff on the ground, you get out of it. At the start of the fight, you'll just be fighting Midgard Summer and dodging a few AoEs. After he loses some health, he will become invincible and revive the East Mirage Dragon on the platform. When you kill this dragon, it will actually reduce Midgard Summer's HP, so don't worry about it taking a long time to kill. The dragon itself has a ton of AoEs as Midgard Summer does as well. Plasma releases a room-wide AoE it uses, and it also has a conal breath attack, so just face it away from the group. Also, if this first Mirage Dragon is too close to Midgard Summer, it will take reduced damage, so ensure to pull it away from the boss. Eventually, an Estrella will come down and begin attacking people. Kill this bugger ASAP and he will drop a field generator. When Midgard Summer starts charging a room-wide AoE, turn on the generator by clicking it, and have everyone hide in the shield it creates to survive the attack. Once the generator is done, just go back to killing the dragon. Once the first dragon is dead, you'll fight Midgard Summer for a short time again until he revives the second Mirage Dragon on the west side. This one has some different attacks. It's still a room-wide AoE and a Conal Breath, but just treat it mostly the same. The big difference with this one is that it actually needs to be tanked closer to Midgard Summer, or it takes reduced damage, so instead of pulling it away, just fight it next to him. Another Estrella will also drop for another field generator, while I continue to dodge the ever-increasing number of AoEs. Just use the field generator, kill the second Mirage Dragon, and finish off Midgard Summer to complete the dungeon. Thanks for watching this guide. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share to keep up to date on Final Fantasy XIV news, information, guides, everything, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.